Imagine getting 40% of your business from social media. Not just social media, but some of the social media channels that you might not have any results from. Today's guest, she's only been in the real estate industry for 3 years. She was voted in 2023 the top real estate agent in the Kansas City area. And today she's going to walk through the keys to her success with social media and not just being popular, but in actually getting deals from it, actually driving 40% of her business from that. It's going to be a great episode. Can't wait to introduce you to today's guest. It's going to be a great episode. So the big question is this: how do those of us in the real estate industry with crazy amounts of ambition, how do we think bigger than the building of our own empires? How do we simultaneously seek success and significance, income and impact? My name is Justin Stoddard, and this is the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. All right, welcome back, everybody. Excited to have you back. Welcome again. I'm excited to introduce today's guest. Her name is Rachel Kilmer. Rachel, such a pleasure to have you on the show today. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You know, your background is fascinating. You're in the Kansas City area. You're a former sports journalist.
Mm-hmm.
I also know, having watched some of your videos, that the ongoing romantic celebrity saga of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift is something that you're fond of. Is that safe to say?
Oh, it's my personal royal couple. Yes.
Do you find yourself wishing at times that you were back in sports journalism, to where you could maybe get an interview with either of them on this hot topic of their romance?
I mean, honestly, no, because I would be so grossly unprofessional that it would not be good for anyone. And when you're a journalist, you have to be careful what you post on social media. You have to really not share opinions. You have to be professional. And now I always have to be somewhat professional as a real estate agent, but I'm so glad I don't have to pretend like I'm not totally fangirling over this like I would if I was still a reporter.
It's quite funny to see, these two groups collide. You've got football fans and you've got Taylor Swift fans who probably weren't necessarily the same group prior. And all of a sudden you have this merging of audiences. It's quite funny. It's quite entertaining. I've enjoyed, Travis Kelce has a podcast called New Heights. And I find myself at least listening to clips of he and his brother, who played in the Super Bowl against each other this past year. And it's fascinating to me that what media can do for someone's career, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all sports fans knew who Travis Kelce was, right? Probably the best tight end in the NFL, potentially, arguably, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yet outside of sports, nobody knew who he was, right? Like, nobody knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of a sudden, because of this new couple, his name is now widespread, right? Far beyond football. And so I take that as a principle, because my mentor and coach, Sharon Srivatsa, says, that the most effective business model in the world is celebrity, is fame. Fame is the most efficient business model, is actually what he says. And I think when you look at, obviously the New Heights podcast is now reaching a whole new level of fan base, right? And now there's more Chiefs fans around the world who maybe don't even know how to throw a football or how to catch a football, who are all of a sudden now diehard Chiefs fans because of the Taylor Swift. It's just fascinating to me. Which ties into today's topic, right? Which is you're somebody who came out of journalism, came out of a different industry, and took the principles of communicating effectively with people. And I would add entertaining people, which I find you entertaining and fun to watch, by the way. And that phenomena has created tremendous success in real estate for you. So I'm excited to get into that today. So thank you for being willing to come on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm so pumped that we have a Taylor and Travis drop immediately off the bat. This is going to go great. Like you're speaking my language.
Hey, I'm no dummy. I know it gets earballs. So let's dive in here. You started in real estate just 3 years ago. What drove you to get into real estate?
Yeah. Well, I worked in sports broadcasting for 6 years, and then it's kind of almost like military life in sports and TV. You have to move around a lot. And I had finally come back to Kansas City, where I'm from. My TV station had a mass layoff, and I ended up working in sales because I wanted to stay in Kansas City. Discovered that I'm good at sales. It's like, oh, this is a great skill set, but I was lacking the kind of creativity and like ownership over my days that I was really missing. I had a baby in 2020, my first child in March of 2020. It was a disaster. And after I kind of came back to work post the first wave of COVID, post, new mom, I was like, I just don't want to sit in an office and report to other people all day, every day. So that's when I decided to jump into real estate with a, 4-month-old baby, pandemic raging on, giving up a good steady income. So on paper, it was a terrible decision, but in reality, it's turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever made.
So cool. You mentioned that you realized you were good at sales. How much of sales in today's world involves communicating effectively, not just a one-to-one, because that's where most people think sales is, right? How much of your sales is made easier because of your ability to talk and to communicate and to speak to more than just an audience of one?
Yeah. Personally, I would kind of, in my mind, draw a line between sales and marketing. And to me,
Mhm.
sales is the one-on-one experience. And to me, that's less communicating and more like emotional intelligence and listening and trying to understand, like, problem solving, figuring out what is their problem and how can you help them solve it. And then on the mass scale, I think of it more as marketing. And in that case, communication is everything. And being able to tell a story is everything. And everything you do, whether it's a postcard or a Facebook post or anything in between, you're telling a story every time you put yourself out there and just making sure it's consistent.
I think that's a great distinction, and I would agree with you. And do you find that those skills are quite different? In if marketing is speaking to a larger audience, sales is more listening, right, to an audience of one or a small group. What are there challenges in there in those two skill sets to where they at times can conflict, or do you find that one feeds the other? Kind of talk us through that.
Yeah, that's a good question. A, a lot of my clients that come from my marketing then obviously it's more of a sales relationship, but we almost can speak in shorthand because we connected through TikTok or whatever the platform is where they already know my personality and chose me because of that. So it's like it really cuts back on the like beginning sales process of like getting to know them and what they want and what's their vibe and what are they into. So, and in some cases it's this kind of the same part of your brain, but in other cases I definitely feel like a shift of like, okay, I'm I'm on TikTok or whatever versus I'm face to face with someone. I'm not performing anymore. I'm trying to connect relationally. So I definitely think it's kind of a different part of your brain for the most part.
Yeah. Well, I do agree with you entirely. Is that when people have, I mean, much of sales, a sales process is people getting comfortable, trusting you, understanding what you're saying. And if your marketing is good enough, it definitely expedites that process of sales, right? When you said it, I loved how you said that. Is it, it's like communicating shorthand. Is it people already know so much about you? They're already sold on the fact of you, right? It's now just you helping them get what they want, right?
Yeah.
Um, let's talk. There's a couple different groups I'm sure that are listening. Those that are quite expert in social media already. I definitely want to speak to that group because I know that's the audience that we strive to serve. Are those that are already very effective, proficient professionals. Yet I would say that there are some that are very good in real estate and they just have a hard time putting that camera in front of their face. Right now, you did that before you came to real estate, so you had that advantage. But what advice would you give to people who are like, you know what? I get it. I get how that could work. Yet I look at a camera and I'm like, I just don't know that I can do that. Right? Walk through how you have overcome that and how you help other people overcome that.
Well, this is like always a hot take, but I'm like, not everyone has to do video, Like it's one of those things. I feel like it's just such a hot thing right now that everyone, if they're not doing it, feels like shame or like guilt. Like I really should be doing that. And like in real estate, you can like should yourself to death, right? I should be doing more open houses. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. We cannot do everything. So whatever, if the thought of making video makes your skin crawl, then it's not going to look natural or feel natural. You're not going to enjoy doing it. So you're not going to create any consistency. So like if you're in the group that's like, I really, really don't want to do video, but I know I should, I say go do something that you enjoy and that you're good at. There's so many ways to market. So I just would never do a marketing method personally that makes my skin like I dread. I'm just not doing that. It's not going to be successful for anyone. if you're in the group that's like, I really want to do video, it's intriguing to me, but I'm just a little nervous. That's the group that I think you just got to put yourself out there and just try it. Just throw your phone in front of your face. Look at what other people are doing, and don't copy it, but you can take ideas, tailor it, credit them where you need to, and repurpose it for your market or your niche.
Mm-hmm. Tailor it, and you'll find yourself quite swift at the process. Come on, I know what you're doing.
Yeah,
You're just dropping Taylor again. Yeah. All right, great. So yeah, don't feel like you have to start from zero. And I agree with you. If this is like, for example, some people, I would put myself in the same category, cold calling all day long or knocking doors all day long. If that just says, I would rather do something else for a living, then if video is that to you, don't force it, man. Go do something. Go find another way to find real estate agent clients and be at peace with that. Stop beating yourself over the head saying, I got to do video. Like, I do think that there's a missed opportunity, but I also think there's missed opportunities for people that aren't willing to pick up the phone and call people, right? Like don't try and be somebody you're not. But if you are somebody, you just need a little help. I think Rachel's advice was great. It's like, just start moving, right? If it's like, yeah, I think I could do that. It doesn't make me sick to my stomach, and I could do it. Then start moving and look at other people to inspire you. And I would encourage you. Rachel is one of those people, right? She really makes it quite fun. In fact, Rachel, I'll just plug this in here right now, is that you have an e-course that really helps people through this. So we're going to give everybody a link to that. I want you to take note of that. That Rachel, again, with her background in broadcast journalism, right, is somebody who can really help you. So just stay tuned. If you're that person, it's like, yeah, I think it could be me. I just need a little bit of help. We're going to help you with that. So
thank you. Yeah.
Go ahead. You're going to say something.
I have a downloadable in the e-course too. Like, that is designed for someone that is in this group of like, I really want to do social at a higher scale, but I don't know how to be consistent or even what method to take to each platform. We literally break it all down as an entire brain dump. And there's like a PDF guide you can download, print out, hang above your desk. This is how I started in social. And it's like, Mondays we do this, Tuesdays we do this. And it's like something on each platform each day of the week. And if you just methodically work through and check all those boxes and do it week in, week out, you're going to get better, and it's going to feel a lot more natural. So whether you download the e-course or not, making a plan is a huge, huge piece of it.
Would you agree that your ability to be consistent has been more valuable to you than even your background in journalism?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, anyone can, not anyone, but like a lot of people are charismatic and good on camera, but it's marrying that with the consistency. And it's like, even if you're not great on camera and you're consistent and you're posting consistently, something's going to hit at some point, and maybe not go viral, but at least like find your audience eventually.
Yeah. I've heard it said, in fact, just recently, is you don't have to be the best, you just have to be the most consistent. And I do believe that there is a lot of merit to that, is that some people, they because they don't believe that they have a superhero, a super power of speaking and entertaining, that's like, that's not me. When in actuality, there'd be people who would be very talented like you, Rachel, but don't have the consistency. Is that it doesn't matter how good they are, because if you're not consistent, nobody's going to see you or remember you or see you enough times to remember you, to where you can really win at this game if you're consistent. And I'll also add is that the more consistent you are, the better you get. Like, you're not standing in one place, that every time you do a video, if you're thoughtful about it, you'll be able to identify, hey, that worked, that landed, or that was kind of a bust, and learn from it. So where now each time you're getting better and better, right? And eventually you can be not only talented like Rachel, you can also be consistent like Rachel, or continue to be consistent like Rachel, right? So that creates some superpower. Talk to us about the different platforms that you're on. Obviously, we kind of promoted today as being a day of TikTok because you get a lot of business from that. I know some people are pretty uncomfortable with TikTok for a number of reasons. Other people love it, and it's their home. What would you say would be the platforms that you focus on? This list that you're talking about, what platforms are you on?
Yeah, well, TikTok kind of fell into my lap on accident. I started it as kind of just silly joking videos, and then it took off. And now every time it comes back up to the house floor, I'm like, oh man, are they going to ban it? And then I'm going to lose my whole marketing plan. But yeah, TikTok, YouTube. On YouTube, I have two channels. I have one that's dedicated to my podcast, one that is dedicated to marketing towards people moving to Kansas City from out of town. I post both long form and reels on your, what do they call them on YouTube, shorts. I have Instagram, post Instagram reels, stories to the grid, Facebook business page, same thing. Facebook personal page. I don't use a ton for real estate, but occasionally. I have a LinkedIn. It's very passive. I have a Pinterest that's also very passive. So about 7 different platforms that we're posting to every day.
Every day. Do you
Yes.
have a team that helps you with this? I'm assuming so. It's not
Yes.
just you.
Yes, I do. I have an ops manager. She started hourly, part-time, like 4 hours a week, just posting my like Canva graphics onto Facebook and Instagram is how she started. Now she's full-time with our team. She's also our TC, also a director of marketing. Like she does everything. But she runs point on my social media. We use this tool called repurpose.io, which I do have a referral code for it if you don't have one already, but it's the most like the best. It's like $200 for a year, the best $200 you can spend. And it takes your video from any platform and then repurposes it and sends it automatically posted to all your other platforms. So when I say we're posting on every platform every day, that's the main way is when I make a TikTok, it knows to automatically send it to YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram.
Killer. And it's $200 for the year, roughly. Is that what you said?
Yes, I believe that's what it was. Yep.
Very cool. I have heard of Repurpose. I hadn't heard all of its capabilities, so that's a great tip.
It's incredible. Yeah.
So do you really create then one video per day and post it in one place, and then Repurpose.io takes it and runs with it in these other places?
Yeah. So my video content primarily does come from TikTok, which is short form videos. Usually definitely under a minute. Most of them are under 20 seconds. And I try to do, my goal is to do 2 or 3 of those every weekday. That does not happen because it's creative based and trend based. So if there's not something trending that is really like triggering creative juices for me, this week I've been, slow, but then there's some weeks I post 5 a day. So it really depends on a lot of things. So that's my goal. And then that gets repurposed to all the other platforms. Those are the short form videos. I try to post to my Instagram stories every day. That's just like me, like, hey, what's up, guys? This is what I'm doing today. And then I do a long form YouTube video that's educational each week. That's targeted towards out of state buyers or out of town buyers. And then I do a podcast episode each week as well. And the podcast episode gets also posted to YouTube and then little clips posted to my Instagram stories and Facebook business page. So that's all for the most part, that's the video content.
Did you say 2 to 3 a week or 2 to 3 a day is what you strive for?
A day.
A day. Okay.
Yeah. On TikTok, which that can literally be like, I remember one time I was making dinner and I just had a thought and I was like, I wonder if Taylor Swift is going to shop at this local grocery store chain or this local grocery store chain. And I picked up my phone and I said, hey, I wonder if Taylor is going to be the Price Chopper girl or a Hy-Vee girl, and then put it down. It took me 15 seconds to make it. I don't think that one went super viral, but it's sometimes super low effort and you're just like putting a thought out there. And then sometimes, you have the more like researched high quality videos, but it doesn't have to take a long time.
Talk us through, as you're creating content, are you also looking to create a call to action? Like, hey, if you're interested in buyer selling, like reach out to me, or is that just inferred that, hey, I'm Rachel, I'm a realtor, right?
I probably should. I know you're supposed to on paper, but I really think of my content as just like building community and just like getting to know people. And I strategically my name is Rach the Realtor. That's my handle. So they know that I'm a real estate agent before they even look at anything. And I don't feel like I have to constantly badger them about that. It's just, so very rarely do I say, hey, use me as your real, I don't think I've ever said that on TikTok. Maybe once or twice I've been like, hey, if you want to talk more about this, let's grab a coffee. On YouTube, long form videos, I will do that. But on TikTok, to me, it's more about just being kind of in relationship the same way you would with a person in real life. And then when a real estate need comes along, then they're like, oh yeah, that girl I see every single day on TikTok is a real estate agent. And then they inevitably reach out.
I love it. And your content, let me just back up here to a logistics question. Are you using just the editing tools inside of TikTok to do that? Or do you have editors who are taking your stuff and making it more fancy? Or are you the one that's actually are you sending raw content to someone, they're making it fancier and then posting it? Or are you doing the original post and then it's running from there?
It's all me. It's
Okay.
all done right within the TikTok app. TikTok, like their algorithm likes when it's edited in app. All the apps do. Instagram, any of them do.
Yeah.
Some of their in-app editors are more clunky than others. I really like TikToks, and it's easy. And yeah, so the only thing that's not edited directly within TikTok is house tours. I have a photographer that does that, but I bring it in the app and then I add the music and the voiceover within the app. So I still think it treats it better as if it wasn't edited in app, if that makes sense.
How much time do you spend on these videos on average per day?
I would say per day, 45 minutes, an hour, anytime between 30 minutes and an hour, just depending on the day and how much time I have.
And you could do 2 to 3 that quickly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's really like such a creative thing. It's like if my creative juices are flowing, I can sit here and knock out 5 in 30 minutes sometimes. And it's so much is dependent on like what's trending. So like the trending sounds that you're like, a lot of times it's like a clip from a movie or a song that you're voicing over and then changing the caption to. Those make it really easy and quick because you're just literally like, la la la, here's the words to the song, and now I apply it to Kansas City or whatever your market is or whatever your niche is. So yeah, it can be really quick.
That's I think that's pretty fascinating for people to understand, because I think when people hear that much content, they're like, oh my goodness, it takes me forever to do. It'll take me 2 hours to do one, and you're just whipping them out, right? And it's just like you're not overthinking it. You're just saying like, hey, this is on my mind. Creative juices are flowing. Put it out there, and you're not having to tie everything back into real estate, right? Because at the end of the day, you're making a connection to other people. You have in your name and in your brand the fact that you are a realtor, but it's more about here's what's happening in Kansas City, here's what's happening in my life, here's what's happening in pop culture, and I'm reporting on it. With also you have these other channels that are more dedicated to real estate.
Yeah, if it's taking you 2 hours to make a short form video, you're doing it wrong. That defeats the whole purpose of it. The whole purpose of it is to be really genuine, off the cuff, relatable.
Do you ever find yourself, and do you have any sort of system, if you get an idea and it's not, you're not in a position to do it, do you have some sort of system where you capture that, or do you
I just have a really chaotic notes app on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And if you are like a regular TikTok user, like you just use it to consume content personally and you want to start creating content on it, a trick that I do is when there's a sound that's trending a lot and I'm seeing a lot of, I click the little circle at the bottom right of the screen that shows the audio, and then I save it to favorites. And then when I'm looking for hey, I need to post a TikTok video today, I go back through those favorites. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that Beyonce song. I could totally make something with that. And then it's there from like, 10 p.m. the night before when I was just scrolling and rotting away.
I love it. I love it. Are there any other tips that you would give when it comes to actually making this come to life, right? I think we've talked through anybody who like is kind of on the sidelines entirely. There's other people out there that want to be more effective. This Repurpose IO is a great tool. Obviously your course is going to give a lot of insight around that. Is there anything else that really helped unlock your affinity for this type of marketing that you wish you could have gone back and told yourself when you were kind of struggling along with this?
Well, think about who you're talking to. That's a big mistake I see a lot of agents make, is they get on there and they make real estate content because that's what you're doing all day. So you're like, oh, here's a joke about this inspection, or like, here's a joke about appraisers. And that's fine. But just know that your audience you're talking to is other agents. There's a lot of people that really successfully use TikTok to drive referrals, and that is their whole purpose on TikTok. So they are posting real estate content with the intent of reaching other agents. That is a great strategy to have. That is not my strategy. I want to be consumer facing. So if you are trying to make consumer facing content, you need to make 10 to 20% about real estate, and everything else needs to be about your niche, which your niche can be anything. For me, it's my city, like just kind of like culture, lifestyle in my city. But I'm not like a vlogger, like I'm not like an influencer in terms of like, I don't make like really pretty content. I make like jokes about living here for the most part. Your niche could be like, you like horseback riding, or you are a Girl Scout parent, or, whatever. Your niche can be literally anything, but that is what topic you are creating content about, and that is who is going to be consuming your content. So whatever you talk about, just think about who your audience is. And we talk about this like extensively in the e-course, because this is like the whole thing of social media is like know who you are and know who your audience is, and then you'll be able to kind of snowball effect and roll it forward
and speak to that person, right? Speak to those people. Be sure you're capturing their attention. I love it. Before we go to the final question, how do people get a hold of your e-course? What does that look like?
Yeah, there's a link on on my social platforms. I have a landing page, link in my bio there that you can click to it. On my website, there is a tab for it as well. All over the social platforms, I'm at Rach the Realtor KC, and my website is also www.rachtherealtorkc.com.
Perfect. We'll put that in the show notes, folks. Awesome stuff. I want to ask you this question, Rachel. You obviously have grown very quickly, right? You found your niche in real estate and how you're going to capture people. And now you've got to be thinking to yourself, like, I could really grow this. I could really scale this, right? And it's only going to get better. And as this younger generation who has affinity towards social mediums, like, your world is going to continue to expand. What do you do to continue to think bigger, to continue to be a big thinker, to expand your possibilities and continue to entertain, like, I wonder what's possible? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, well, I find social media as being a huge piece of my business to be so empowering because I control it and it is me. And I want to see other agents that want that find that as well. So I'm currently working on growing our team, and not just recruiting agents like crazy, but like one at a time, finding someone that wants this and trying to help them find their space, because it is so empowering to feel like, yes, I found my spot. I know where my business is coming from. I like my clients. They are people I want to work with, and enjoying my job. And I want to see other people do that as well. So currently the way that we're thinking bigger is about growing our team, not just to be some mega team, but to really like empower other people to have really fulfilling careers in real estate as well.
That's beautiful. I think anybody that has massive success ends up having success through other people, right? There's only so much you can do on your own. When you start to realize, like, I'd love to teach other people how to do this, because it's been been so rewarding for me personally and professionally. So I love it. That's such a great and appropriate answer. So thank you so much for your time, for being willing to come on and let us highlight you. How fun. So I look forward to learning more about you, to continue to follow you and learn from you. I look forward to getting a hold of the e-course as well myself, and look forward to continuing to stay in contact. So thank you so much for what you've contributed. And I also want to give a shout out to everybody who's been here listening live. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I also want to just invite you, if you're not yet thinking bigger, stay tuned. We've got more and more exciting stuff coming up in the new year. Our mission is to help expand your possibilities every single day. And we're excited about some of the content we're going to be releasing. So stay tuned on that. And my final request of everybody is go think bigger. Rach, thanks for helping us do that today, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. If you found value in anything that you heard here today, do me a favor and just take a quick screenshot of this episode. Tag me in it on social media. That will give you the heads up to create more content like this in future episodes. Also, if you are wanting to build your wealth advisory team in less than 30 days that gives you 2 to 4 professional referrals every month, go to proinsight.com, or you can reach out to me directly